Om Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Hari Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishnaya. Respected Brother Monks and assembled devotees and my dear children. Today is a day when I think about it, my thoughts go back many, many years when I was just a student of 6th class in Chennai. I had a great fascination for one poet in Tamil. He was considered as the greatest poet of the modern India. His name was Bharati, Subramanya Bharati. These Bharati's poems just moved me. I do not know how some of the poems can move you. You know, even in Irish literature, there are great poets who got even Nobel Prize. And you find that some of the poems can move you to such an extent that you feel, yes, there is something in those words. Subramanya Bharati fascinated me. What the point of us that I am trying to tell you is, I found him declaring himself as a disciple of someone about whom I didn't know anything. And he used to claim that I am a disciple of an Irish lady, he used to say. Irish lady by name Margaret Elizabeth Noble. And he used to very proudly declare that this lady is known in Indian circles as Sister Nivedita. Because in most of the Indians, if you ask what is the original name of Sister Nivedita, they would not be able to say Margaret Elizabeth Noble. Because the Nivedita name itself has become so well aligned to her personality, and no more name you can think of. So he used to claim. Then when I read his story, he met Nivedita in Calcutta and became instantly her disciple. Though Nivedita was not a guru as such, she was not initiating people into mantra, etc. But this Bharati felt, she is my guide in life. He had great admiration for Swami Vivekananda. That's how he went to Calcutta to see the place where Swamiji lived. And there he met this lady, Irish lady, and he was so imbued with nationalism and patriotism. And he found in her a very good guide to develop the devotion to one's own land. See, this one example I'm quoting to you to show that born in Ireland, going into a different country far, far away in India to Calcutta and inspiring Indians to love India is something tremendous influence it brought in me that I must go one day to Ireland. I never knew that I would come here. But then it's all God's wish. Yes, that's how attracted to a personality and it was brought to me. Now, Nivedita's story, you all must be knowing. I don't need to repeat the entire story from her birth to the death. But what she did to Indians is something remarkable. If Swamiji was a condensed India, as in his own words, I'm telling, I am the condensed India, he said. And Nivedita is the person to bring love towards India. And it is not that she went outside to all the world's countries and told about India. She taught Indians about India. Just imagine anybody going from another country and entering into the myriad, so much of difference in culture in India, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and from Kutch to Kolkata. If you see east to west and north to south, you will find so many differences in culture. Though all are united in certain points, which we all know, but then the widely different cultures, to study one culture itself so difficult. Think of going around India and getting to know the heartbeat of India and telling the Indians what is India stands for. This is something I could never imagine. A person, as Maharaj was telling about Celtic blood, yes, that blood only made her famous because she was determined to know what is India. And India does not stand for a geographical area. It does stand for geographical area because that area only we call India. But then it stands something for more. And that aspect Nivedita got from Swamiji. And Swamiji said, you are one of the world movers. World mover is the title he gave to Nivedita. She was a world mover. And today, all over the world, we find this 150th birth anniversary has created an awareness about this Nivedita. She is considered as a topmost patriotic in her own way, and she taught Indians how to be patriotic. What is the central core of her life? If you ask me, I'll say the best description of Nivedita's character can be what Swamiji gave the name. Swamiji could understand, Vivekananda could understand who was this girl. When she met him in London for the first time, she says in her writings that I had a notebook where I used to write my doubts. And here is the first time I see a person who is lecturing, and as if he is taking out one by one my doubts and explaining what it is. She was stunned. All her minds, the doubts have been cleared by his lectures. And instantly she became his disciple. And he said, I want you. Like you only men we require. We had to import a lady from outside, from a foreign country, to improve the women's condition in India. In those days, you cannot think of how backward our country was. If you read those essence, can you imagine a person going to the lanes and lanes of the Bagh Bazaar area in Calcutta, one of the very big area, Bagh Bazaar. In that area, nowhere, nobody can say they do not know Nivedita. She was so well known there. How she was well known? Not because she was Irish woman, not because she was a foreigner, not because she had a flowing dress, but because she served each and every downtrodden people there. She went to the lanes and took those suffering people. If you read her life during the plague in 1899, when Swamiji was living, how Nivedita served those places. She used to eat only milk and fruits. And Swami Purnananda is an example. He also does that. He doesn't eat anything else, only milk and fruits. A real follower of Nivedita. And she used to eat. And when she went to a hospital and the patient is suffering, and the patient says, not in the hospital, in a house, and says, hey, this patient is suffering and you are keeping him here. Bring him to the hospital. That patient said, no, I cannot take him to hospital because I don't have money. Nivedita decided at that very moment, I shall stop drinking my milk, and that expenditure I will donate to this patient. Can you imagine? She stopped her milk, and whatever cost it had for the month, she donated to that poor patient. So, that self-effacing attitude, that dedicated, that is the meaning of the word, Sanskrit word, Nivedan. Nivedan means dedication, and Nivedita means one who is dedicated. She dedicated her entire life. That's why in today morning, Swami Bodhisattva Maharaj, the Assistant General Secretary, when he was speaking, most of you must be there, he was speaking, he quoted the wonderful line that has been inscribed in her Samadhi at Darjeeling, where she passed away. Who gave her all to India? That is the word. Who gave her all? Nothing she kept for herself. She gave everything to India. And that is called the self-effacing attitude is what I like. I have come here, of course, for this center only I have come. Dr. Sen was very kind enough to send the invitation for the visa purpose, So he sent the invitation that I could come here. And do you know who is this Dr. Siddhartha Sen? Siddhartha Sen is the grandson of one Dinesh Sen. I tell you one incident of Nivedita's connection to Dinesh Sen. Dinesh Sen was a great man. In his old days, he was a literature. Not only literature he wrote several books also. One of the books he wrote about the history of Bengali language, which is even now a reference book in the universities. History of Bengali language. He went and searched different places and took the manuscripts of Bengali language and studied them, and he put it down, and how the Bengali language grew from a simple dialect. It was a dialect, and how it grew, acquired its words and how do you write, that alphabets, etc. He traced the origin of the Bengali language and brought out 2 volumes. And he wanted, because he wrote it in English, he wanted that manuscript should be seen by Nivedita. So he went to Nivedita. He was very close to her. And he said, my dear sister, can you go through this book, manuscripts, and tell me where any mistake is there? She said, I shall do it. Because you are requesting me, I shall do it. And Nivedita's English, unparalleled. Even today, I read her books and I have to stop, think, and then only proceed. Many new words in English I picked up from Nivedita's books. She's a wonderful English master, I can say. If you want to improve your English, you must read Nivedita. And such a lady, she said, yes, I will do it, because Dinesh Sen is telling. And after accepting that assignment, she said, on one condition, I will do it. What is that condition? Imagine. Did she ask for money? You must pay me this much amount for doing this work. Did she ask for anything else? No. She was hard hit at that time financially. She could have asked Dinesh Sen, give me some money, but she did not ask. Nothing she asked, but she put a condition. What was that condition? She said, when you publish this book, at that time, my name should not be mentioned. Can you imagine? Self-effacing. For just suggesting a foreword or a 2 lines, say correction, you want your name to be given there as an acknowledgement. That is how the world is. But here is a lady who said, who is going to go through the 2 volumes, voluminous volume, and that volume she is going to correct, and she is telling, no, my name should not be mentioned anywhere. And he has to mention. So finally he mentioned that I am indebted to a lady who saw the entire book, But because of a request not to mention her name, I am not mentioning. And his grandson is Siddhartha Sen. So the self-effacing attitude, how it has percolated to this family, you can see. And I heard from our General Secretary Maharaj, when you are going to Ireland, you must meet Dr. Sen family, he said, because there was so much done to this center. So when you find this, the self-effacing attitude of Nivedita is a wonderful attitude. This one character attracts me to her. So when I am posted here as a minister in charge, so I don't say to headquarters, I won't go here, there, etc. Whatever they say, I said, okay. Likewise, they posted me to South Africa, which is very far, far away from India. Suddenly they called me and said, we want you to send to South Africa. I said, okay. When I said okay, at that time the General Secretary Maharaj, now the present President Maharaj, he got up from his seat and came to me and embraced me. I said, immediately you said yes? I said, Maharaj, you are telling me, when you are telling me, that means what? Sri Ramakrishna is telling through you. The Sangha and Sri Ramakrishna are non-different. That is what Swami Vivekananda has taught us. The Sangha means the order, and Sri Ramakrishna are non-different. So when Sangha tells you something, you must obey. I said, yes, Maharaj, I will go. Whatever be the challenges there. So here also, he told me, 3 years only I completed in Singapore. So he said, the present General Secretary is very well known to me, and we both are of the same group. See, we took initiation from the same group. So he said, and he was very, very humble, put his hands together and said, Maharaj, there is an assignment coming up in Dublin. Can you please take it? I said, yes, wherever our order sends me, I will go. So that's how I came. But then I remember when I was just 12-year-old boy thinking about Ireland. So that's how I have come here, by her grace, I think. That lady from Ireland could go to India, sacrifice her life. And what is there for us to fear? Being monk. Come what may, I shall go to Ireland, I said. So that's how I am before you. So Nivedita's life is a wonderful life, a dedicated life. Every time we read her life, it's something remarkable insight we get into the personality. Not that because I have read her books and I know about Nivedita much. No. Whenever, even now, today also, I was reading a small booklet. I think in another shut it is there. That booklet, I was reading her life, small life only. But how beautifully the author has expressed, and certain ideas we get from that. Every time when you read a book, as you progress in spiritual life, you try to learn, and that ideas come to you, and it just flashes in your mind. That's why they say Sri Ramakrishna's words, the very simple words called Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna in English, and in Bengali it is Sri Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita. When you read that, everybody says, all the big Swamis have told. Swami Gambhiranji has told me this. Swami Madhavanji used to sit with that book only, and always he is reading. So some people asked him, Maharaj, you are reading this gospel for so many years. He said, still I have not completed. Because not in the sense, not completed in understanding it. 10 years before, when I read a statement of Sri Ramakrishna, what I understood is not that. Today, after 10 years, I am understanding something more. That's how Nivedita's life is there. Whenever you read the life, any portion, any aspect of her personality, you find it's such a wonderful way that you understand your matter is more becoming clearer in your mind. So I would request you for on this wonderful occasion of the affiliation to Ramakrishna Mutt, that is what today it has happened. This installation or of this special puja done to Sri Guru Maharaj, that is Sri Ramakrishna, and then the prayers and the singing started with such a wonderful wonderful chanting of Vedic mantras by the school students here. It was so enormous. I was enamored to see them. So wonderful. So with this such an auspicious start, Ramakrishna Mission is putting its feet into this country. Once Swami, our present President Maharaj Parananandji, asked me, see, 150 years, it was, we had talked during 148th year of Sister Nivedita's life. At that time, when I met him in Belur, he was telling me, in 2 years' time, we are going to get 150th year of Sister Nivedita. But we don't have a center in Ireland. He said, today, how much happy our President Maharaj would be, to hear that Ramakrishna Mission has settled here. And I must thank you. I have been following. The moment when I was told that I had to come here, I entered your website and then found that one column is there. You can click and put your WhatsApp number. So you will be automatically included into the member. At that time, 43 or 44 members were there in that group. After my joining, I found some more are joining. Even today, yesterday also people joined. And it has become more than 65 now. And through that group, I kept myself abreast of what is happening here and what all activities have been gone through here. Just mere, refurbishing a house is not about that I'm telling. The energy, the efforts, the time, the money that people have put into this is something remarkable. I have never seen any other country or any other place that within 2 years, as Swami Purnanji was telling me, that bank balance was 6,000 when it was decided. And within a short time, the money came and the efforts of the devotees came in and people put in so much wonderful efforts. And today we are able to live here. It's such a wonderful thing. Through this, I tell you, yesterday, I met one Archbishop, Dr. Jackson. He asked me, what is the blueprint for this Ramakrishna Mission? It was a good question. We all must have that blueprint in our mind. Our devotees, because devotees are not different from the monks in conducting the center, mind you. Devotees' inherent goodness and their willingness to help the center, that's what is more important. So that's why Ramakrishna Mission was started. Swami Vivekananda kept devotees and monks together and formed the Ramakrishna Mission. So we both are there to take up from one level to another level to another level. So if you see the level wise, so I told Archbishop, sir, we have got to bring first in our congregation the wonderful idea of harmony of faith. All paths are different maybe, but they are all like different rivers coming to the same one ocean. This idea we must put into the mind of our own congregation first. Then you go outside. So that's a very big job. In every congregation of every faith, you will find people, fanatic people are there. So fanaticism has got no place in Ramakrishna Mission. It is the widest way that one can think of. It can embrace everybody. This is the one organization I find where multiracial people have become monks. Multi-religious people have become monks. I'm happy to tell you, in Singapore, we have a Japanese monk who was born and brought up as a Buddhist. He is a Ramakrishna monk now. So multiracial, multi-religious people coming together. I served one monk who was born Islam, that is born Muslim. And at the age of 30, he came out from his home and he joined the Ramakrishna Mission. And during his last 10 years, I was with him and I served him. And he would ask me, come brother, tell me about Rabia, he would say. And I would tell the Sufi saint Rabia's story. and he would shed tears, Such wonderful people are there. And this is the mission where you can learn that multiracialism, whatever be yours, that doesn't matter. What matters is you are a human. If you are a human, each soul is potentially divine, as Swami Vivekananda says. So divinities are there. Ye are divinities. That's what Swamiji says. Ye are divinities. Amritasya putra. That's one beautiful phrase he took up from our Upanishads. And he said, Amritasya putra. I refuse to call you as sinners, he said. I want you to imagine that you are all the children of immortality. What a beautiful idea it is. So you are all divine. So when all the divinities come together and put our efforts in taking the steps to increase the amity, the closeness, the love, the light. 3L, he said today morning in the prayer. Love, light, and another L. He said, Maharaj, you are telling love, light, and another one. Yes, love and light.
Love.
Life, yes. 3L, he said. Yes, that is a wonderful idea that we have to follow it in our life, and we have to exude those senses to anybody who comes to you. None should be fearful to you. You are a lovely person, and you are shedding the light that is removing the darkness of ignorance, and your life is an example. This is what we have to attain by Ramakrishna Mission coming into this field. I am very thankful to every one of you for attending today's function, and I hope to get, after getting my long-term visa, I hope to come here by October to be with all of you. So I will be staying in Dublin, and with, of course, Purnanandji Maharaj as my brother. We both will be here. So we want the same cooperation that you all have been giving so far to everyone. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.